You know, we have certain core competencies, and one of the core competencies is voice, and building networks is another core competency. But as wireless moves into a new world of data and a variety of other services, we know that that isn't something that is really a core competency of ours. And there are going to be many new applications and services that will be developed by many other people. And we want them to be able to put those applications, those new services, on our network in order to increase network usage, in order to have more options for consumers and our customers. And so we see this as a way to really expand and grow the business. So I guess I'd say as we move into this new world that is not voice-centered anymore, but is data-centered and centered on new services, that we want all the people who are creative in these areas and who really do, this is their job to work in these areas, to use our network as a vehicle for reaching consumers. I'm surprised that the presidential candidates have not spent a lot of time talking about broadband or the use of new technology in the communications world. I'm not, I know that when we talk about, take a poll of the top 10 issues in the country, broadband deployment isn't going to show up in the top 10. It's not something people sit around the table and talk about while they're having dinner. But I do think that what is surprising to me is that the candidates are not talking about these technologies as part of the solution to other issues they're talking about. So, for example, healthcare. When they're talking about healthcare, they could talk about how we could lower the cost of healthcare by up to 30%, presidential and congressional commissions have said, if we simply had used IT in healthcare and had electronic records. Electronic patient records would reduce errors. It would improve the efficiency of the system dramatically. This is something that is fairly simple, but would have real impact on the cost of health care. You could use that money then to solve other issues like those who don't have coverage today. When we look at other aspects of healthcare, like home monitoring, blood pressure and other things for a diabetes patient, let's say, or sugar levels for a diabetes patient, or you think of even kids who have elderly parents, I shouldn't say kids, adults who have elderly parents, when you think about how many of them are worried about their parents at home and they'd love to be able to just monitor what's going on occasionally and make sure they're okay. All of these things can be enabled by broadband technology. So we just talked about healthcare, but the same could be said about the environment, how you cut emissions and save energy. Well, telework is a big potential opportunity there. The work that the Department of Transportation has been doing in smart transportation or smart highways, where they actually talk about how you manage traffic by managing traffic lights, so people aren't waiting at traffic lights and idling when there really is no need. And you can improve the flow of traffic. You can do a lot of things to better manage traffic through the use of broadband technology. So broadband technology can improve the delivery of healthcare services, can improve the environment, can reduce the cost of energy, can improve the quality of education. And that's what surprises me, is that the candidates don't talk about using this technology to solve some of the other issues facing our nation. I think that it would be very helpful if the Congress would adopt a small program to provide some assistance to states that are attempting to provide broadband services to their residents. So we have seen a model of this. It's called Connect Kentucky. It's been adopted by several other states. Where first the state and the private sector develop a partnership. They go out and they map the state to figure out who has broadband, who doesn't have broadband. They then look at those areas that don't have access to broadband, and they try to get people in the private sector to come in and provide the services. And they go to the community and they say, okay, who wants it? Can we make a business case for it and attract a company to come in and deploy one of several technologies in order to deliver broadband? Then, if they can't get somebody from the private sector to do it, there's a little money that might come from the local government, that might come from the state government, might come from someplace like the Appalachian Regional Commission or the Farm Bill, various other places of the federal government, in order to provide the incentive to get that capital expenditure made that would result in the deployment of broadband facilities. So I think if the federal government would put in kind of a one-time effort to put in some money to help the states with that mapping process, but also then provide grants where necessary in order to get somebody to come in and deploy the network. That would go a long way. It would be a one-time thing, and it would, I think, go a long way to getting the country connected with broadband facilities.